David Landini here from the Riverina State Group. I have with me today Chris Brady from Yarrawira. Chris is a member of the Riverina State Group, and Chris has done a really good job on Invite a Member in March. Chris has invited a bit over 10 people to join, and they've accepted. So that's a really, really good job you've done, Chris. So I just thought I'd like you, Chris, to just introduce yourself to the viewers and just to give us a quick rundown or a brief explanation or a rundown of how you went about it, getting members, that is. What was their reaction, and why do you think people joined the Riverina State Group? So take it away, Chris.
Thanks for having me, David. I suppose a bit about myself. I'm ex-military, straight out of finishing high school, and have my own truck business now. I've got 5 kids, 4 and 1 on the way. That's 5. And
Fantastic.
as to why I think people are interested, and why I found it actively quite easy to get people to sign up so far, is that people in the country are sick of city politics telling us how to live our lives and what we can and can't do, when they wouldn't have the first clue about what we do up here. There's some of the, like, a lot of the places I've been to with my work, I've been in to see orchardists, some of the bigger farmers, and admittedly, I haven't been to a lot of my family and friends yet. I've been to, the people that are largely affected by this, and they all have the same opinions. We can't cut wood for our fires. We can't go down the river and do what we need to do without being harassed, and we can't get water for crops.
Yeah,
and especially like myself, I rely heavily on the fruit industry, and a lot of that fruit comes from inland New South Wales, and they haven't had the water they need to produce what they need.
And
are
you in the Goulburn Valley, Chris? Would you regard yourself in that area? Yeah, and there's been like a lot of water.
Definitely.
There's been a lot of water taken out of your area as well.
Oh, most definitely. And then what hasn't been taken out is being sold off to multinational corporations. I think a quarter of the Katunga Basin is now going to a company that is growing almonds. Dairy farms are being sold out and converted into almond fields, and in a housing shortage, we've got houses being bulldozed because the state government won't let them divide the land off to have housing.
Yeah. So how did you go about it, Chris? Like, when you spoke to these people, how did you initially approach them? And how did you bring up the subject of we want to form a Riverina state, which includes the Riverina of New South Wales and Northern Victoria, particularly the irrigation areas of Northern Victoria? So how did you just approach the concept? Like, it's different and it's pretty big, but you had a really good reception.
Yeah, I suppose I've never been too shy and taken 2 steps forward, and I just walked up and went, "Hey, this is what I've got. This is what it is," and showed them the book and explained, the state that the country's in and how our votes are calculated and how we don't really have a say in the grand scheme. We don't have a say versus the city.
And just on that, Chris, I'll just show you that booklet that you showed them. I'll see if this comes up on the screen. This is a booklet, if I can get that there, that a lot of members have seen, and it's the one that Chris would have showed the people. And I'll just show up a really relevant part, a couple of pages of it. When Chris says we haven't got the representation, I'll show you a couple of pages. And this is what Chris would have shown, if I can get that to come up on the camera. In Victoria, down the bottom there, there's 88 electorates in Victoria. 67 are in the Geelong, Melbourne and Mornington Peninsula area. That's clear. I'm not sure how clear that is. And there's only 21 in the outside of Melbourne, and 2 of those are in Bendigo and one's in Ballarat, which are really extensions of urban Melbourne as well. So there's a real lack of representation in the Victorian Parliament. This is in the Legislative Assembly, of course. And I'll just go to another page that Chris referred to.
Yeah, well, and as you can see from that one, we don't really have a lot to say.
No, we haven't got a lot of say to begin with. And the say that we've got, if I can just get that to show up sort of clearly, I can jiggle that in front of the camera. That's an illustration of the Green vote in Victoria. In the last state election in 2022, there were 416,000 people voted number one for the Greens in the Legislative Assembly. Now, in those 10 marked electorates above Melbourne there's only 413,000 voters total. So it's just an illustration that just shows how many people in Victoria vote for parties such as the Greens that are completely opposed to all irrigation and the timber industry. And
fishing now.
And fishing now too. And that's how many there are in Victoria. So anyone that thinks the Greens are a minor party, they're not. And there's a lot of people in the Liberal Party and Labor Party that sympathise with green issues as well. So we have a real problem politically. So that would have been what you showed them, I think, wouldn't it, Chris? That booklet?
Yes, most definitely. And most people in the country, we all have the same. We all know people from the city, and they tell us, oh, we've got this and we could do that. And you go, all right, well, what's your solution for, feral dogs or feral cats or foxes getting in and attacking lambs and stuff? And I've had solutions come back to me like, oh, call the local pest control people, like they'll come out. But no, they won't. People in the city don't understand what it's like to live in the country.
Yep.
And until they have an understanding, which they never will, they can't represent us.
No, and
if we don't have a vote and we don't have the numbers to even get close to having a vote, which is why something like the Riverina State Group is so vital, is to have a say.
Yep, that's right. And the people you spoke to, they understood that pretty quickly. Like that.
Oh, most definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, as I said, up around along Northern Murray, everything up here is either dairy or fruit, with the exception now of almonds. But without water, nothing goes. Like there's signs up all through like Cobram, and it says no food. I said no water, no farmers, no food, and that's in every second shop.
Yep, and the reason they're there is because the state government are taking the water out of the area. Admittedly, it's the federal government, but the federal government only operates with state government permission. The state of Victoria, the state of New South Wales can stop the Murray-Darling Basin plan immediately. But anyway, Chris, but there's a lot of people interested, so that's really good. And all you did was it's very simple for members to join.
That's right. With that book, I could simply go, look, this is the facts as how it stands at the moment. And anyone that cares about the country or their kids or the future is going to go, okay, well, this is a bit of a joke. And we all know that the major parties don't care about the country. Like they all chase the Green vote or whoever they can to keep themselves in power. And so until there is someone that represents the view of the country, people just need that opportunity. You just have to speak to people and go, hey, we are trying to create something for the future of the country, of regional Victoria and New South Wales, that is separate from the whims of people who don't understand our lives and what we go through.
That's right. And those whims that they've got, they just carry them into Parliament, and they carry the day simply because that's where the numbers are, the politicians, the population, and the political power. So those whims that they've got that affect our livelihoods, they just carry the day. So
but that's right. And it doesn't matter how much. It doesn't matter how good your local politician is. They can stand up and yell all they want, but they are never going to change anything because they don't have the numbers. And we will never have the numbers.
That's exactly right, Chris. And so anyway, Chris, look, that was well done. I think I think you've explained that really good, and that we only wanted to do a very, very short video. But Chris, the bottom line was you've done a great job, and the thing that I'm really, really pleased about is that so many people are so receptive to the concept, because it is a big concept.
They certainly are.
They're very receptive. Yep, that's so good.
Yeah, I'm half tempted to just go for a drive along the river with the sign up form and just get all the campers to sign it.
Yeah, well, I reckon you get a lot of join, because it is. It's a very, very popular idea, and a lot of people agree. That's great. But anyway, Chris, look, thank you very much for your time, and
No worries.
we'll talk again soon.